Hi, this is Jason Kanigan from The Closing Engine, and we're going to talk today about a concept to do with pricing and positioning and that. And the symptom of it is people will come to me and they will say things like a low price is easier to make the sale with, right? And that is wrong. Wrong. And we're going to talk about several reasons why it's wrong and what you can do differently to get a better result for you and your business. Okay, it's not just about making sales. It's about having a better buyer experience, having a better outcome. And if you're constantly scrabbling at the low ticket level, you're never going to bust past that and get to a different level. You can actually have a different experience, even with similar kinds of customers that you have right now. So let's talk about what a low price means. A low price means different things to different people. For a well-off person who wants top quality stuff, a low price to them says, gee, this can't be very good. For a person who doesn't have much money and is kind of scrambling and isn't doing that well, a low price means, oh good, I can get all that for just this little investment. Is that the kind of customer you want? They're going to be invasive, aren't they? They're going to eat up a lot of your time potentially because they think that they're going to own a piece of you now that they've bought this little thing. All right? So when we look at also what level of cash reserves that people have, when you've got a person who's attracted to a low price, odds are they don't have much money. And so in order to pay for your product or service, they're going to have to rob from Peter to pay Paul. You're Paul in this case, okay? So you got a problem there because now, even as the seller, you have to fulfill whatever grandiose plan that they have with the thing that they bought. And if it doesn't work out, and it's usually like a miracle, right? Like they have to use whatever you gave them to make $1 zillion today, right? If it doesn't work out, they're going to refund. You're going to have problems. And that's going to tie up your time. Is that worth it for a low ticket sale? No, not really, right? I would rather not put myself at the risk of having to do that. And I've been in that situation too, where especially when I go and do like a holiday discount, a special offer on a sales training program, and there'll always be that one guy who comes in and goes, oh yeah, I'm going to get this. It's on sale. I know it's worth more than that. And then they don't use it. Or they'll come back and want a refund and say, well, it didn't motivate me. It's not my job to motivate you. It's your job to use the tool. Like it's just a tool. It's just a tool. So when, again, we're talking about here the idea that people have that is wrong, that a low price means easier to sell. It does not. You're attracting the wrong people. They're timid. They're scared. The thing has to work beautifully, perfectly the first time out of the box. Nothing works the first time out of the box perfectly. Very, very rarely does that happen. Even with a proven plan from a coach or something, you still have to do the work and you still have to figure out that thing for yourself. The map is not the territory. Maybe you've heard that. Okay, I'm covering a lot here, I realize, but I'm trying to give you the impression, the idea around this, all right? That charging lower does not mean you're going to have an easier time selling. In fact, it's probably the opposite. If you raise your price, you're probably going to have an easier time because the person you're attracting already has money. They just give you some, and it doesn't hurt them. They're not going into debt or to zero or close to zero where that panic level is, right? We don't want people as customers hitting that panic threshold around us. It's not good, right? It sends us the wrong vibe. It includes them in their, or us in their nonsense. I don't want to be included in my customers' nonsense, right? I want calm, happy customers who don't need instant results and are comfortable and want to like spend the time to figure this thing out. Okay, like you see this a lot in say photography. I've seen this a lot in photography where somebody buys a nice cool camera and now they think they're going to become great photographers. Some even realize that they're going to have to learn something, but again, they're looking for the magic bullet. Well, what can I read or do or whatever to instantly learn about this camera? You can't. It's going to take you time and experience. Get out there and use the damn camera. Play with the settings. Take some crappy photos. All right? And you will learn how to put the pieces together, because this is a tool. That's all the camera is a tool, and you still have to learn how to use it, all those settings, all those features, how they work together, the theory of the thing and the practice of the thing. So if you've got a buyer who is attracted to a low price, they're probably not going to want to make that commitment to learn all that stuff. They probably don't have the time to do it. And it's not like I'm talking about time in their life. I'm talking about like deadlines as far as money being due, bills that they need to pay, and they're going to be terrified. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm scared, my activity level drops considerably, and I just sit there like until I figure it out. Like, I'm good now at recognizing, okay, I'm in this state and I need to get out of it, which means coming up with a plan and then executing, right? So that, if that's what you're up against, like, just think about all these issues that I've raised here when it comes to just trying to sell something and keep the money as the seller, right? Even if what you've provided is great and it works, and that buyer still has to do something with it. And if they're in a mental state that blocks them from doing anything with it, you're kind of beaten before you start. Look at all the trouble that is attracted to you when you charge too little. Okay? So much easier at the upscale end of things. You can afford to do more things for your clients and customers. You charge more. If you're running a software as a service, if you charge more, you can pay developers to update that product, right? That service, it's still working. It's still good 2 years from now because people have bought into it, right? If you charge little one time, you're never going to be able to afford that developer support. Okay? So if you charge more in a coaching program, you can bring in an outside expert, right? Frank Kern will bring in an outside Facebook expert. He knows he's not the genius when it comes to Facebook ads, so he gets somebody who is, and he can afford to pay them for their time with the money that he has collected from his high-ticket buyers. That's smart. And they go, ooh, wow, we got this special inside training from so-and-so, right? And they go brag about it. Think about the difference between the penny-pinching squealers at the low end and the happy, calm, delighted clients at the upper end. All right? And finally, I'm going to wrap this up. When it comes to differentiation, it's so much easier to differentiate yourself at the high-ticket end of things than at the low-ticket. Because what you're doing as you drive the price down is you are driving yourself into the commodity realm. I mean, you can't afford to be much different than your competition, can you? If you're not charging a whole lot. What bells and whistles can you add to the thing? How can you have a USP? It doesn't work. All right? So just keep all this stuff. I hope it gels for you in mind when you're thinking about pricing. And just because maybe a scaredy cat group of people is saying to you, oh, we can't afford it, or any higher than this much a month is too much, and that. Remember, you get to choose your target market. You don't have to live with that. You can go, that's fine. You're that market segment. I choose not to deal with that. I'm going to go upscale, or I'm going to go to serious B2B where they value things like ongoing support and the ability to use the thing that they buy a year from now, right? And that it's not junk that goes to the graveyard or the junkyard, 6 months from now. All right? This is Jason Kanigan from The Closing Engine. Thanks for joining me.